Hello, everybody. My name is Truly Myers, and I am the autoimmune pain expert. And today's topic is one of the 4 biggest factors that lead to autoimmune pain and symptoms, and how to turn symptoms into recovery. So I talk with a lot of people who struggle with autoimmune conditions, and they affect every aspect of the body, every system of the body. And with what I have learned over the years about the autoimmune presentation, how the immune system has responded, how the body has developed these things that happen. And they've, basically it's been illuminated to me that the biggest reasons that this thing can happen is, number one, the pro-inflammatory food choices that a person has. And also that goes with that pro-inflammatory foods, they're also pro-estrogenic, so they're increasing a non-natural level of estrogen in the body, and that has a direct impact on the immune system. And even with the pro-inflammatory food choices, these are things that cause oxidative damage to the tissues, cause damage that misshape the cells of the different parts of the body, the different systems of the body. And when those shapes, when the integrity of the cell has been compromised because of the damage that is being done with pro-oxidant nutrients in foods, the immune system starts to see it as a different cell, as a cell that is something to fight against, to inflame around, to get rid of, and that is what that autoimmune condition is related to. So some of these foods that are pro-inflammatory or estrogenic are high in leucine. They're high in specific amino acids like leucine. They're high in specific amino acids like methionine. And they're also high in heterocyclic amines, which are also toxic in the body. These things are part of that high estrogen levels that can happen and cause in autoimmune conditions. This is especially problematic because of how this affects women's health and how much the autoimmune conditions affect overly represented in women's health. So other things that are disrupting that hormone situation is things like the heterocyclic amines, the PCBs, the dioxins, in addition to those pro-oxidant type nutrients like the different amino acids. There's also, number 2, there's issues with toxic bacteria. And we often think of this as, well, this is just the bacteria that is naturally inhabiting my gut, or it's in my body. It's already part of my system, living and doing what it's doing in my system. And toxic bacteria is not just toxic because of it being live bacteria, but also toxic bacteria can be problematic because even if they are dead bacteria. So there are still toxins even when a bacteria has been killed off. So that means that the bacteria that could be creating toxic environment, creating a situation that causes an autoimmune condition, could be both because it is something that already naturally is inhabiting your gut, your microflora, your natural flora that inhabit your body, but it could also be coming from the food choices that you are making, and that even if the bacteria has been killed off in the cooking process or in the digestion process, dipping it in a bath of acid, such as in your stomach, even when the bacteria are dead at this point, they still contain a level of toxins that they've created within themselves that could also be problematic and causing an autoimmune symptoms to present. So not only do the food choices have to be ascertained about whether they're being pro-oxidative, pro-inflammatory, increasing estrogen in the body, but also what are the best food choices to reduce the amounts of dead bacteria that could be kind of clinging and getting basically ushered into the body, unbeknownst to you, but also live bacteria, and how are we feeding the bacteria that already inhabit us. Number 3, for how this autoimmune conditions can continue to progress, get worse until there's a diagnosis, is just not being knowledgeable about good nutrition, about what health really is about, where it comes from, and then turning to doctors, to pharmaceuticals, to medications as a way to get to health. And that's just out of ignorance about what's going on with your body, about what is good nutrition, about hearing too much from the internet, from friends, from just bad sources about what good nutrition actually means. Hearing things about, I need to do all of these things to control the macronutrients of the body, of my diet. I need to make sure that I'm not getting enough carbs. I need to make sure I'm not getting enough sugar, and just kind of missing the boat of what overall good nutrition actually is. So, they're also kind of confused about what the only solution is to get to health, and that is to go through a doctor, that is to get a prescription medication, and those are wrongly assumed to be the ways to get to good health, the ways to get to healing. And when those things happen, when those medications start working in the body, they actually can produce more of a toxic environment that can further along an autoimmune condition, such that where the autoimmune condition gets worse, or it would have naturally resolved, but at this point, because there's all this other traditional medical interventions going on with the pharmaceuticals, that it cannot get better at that point. So it's better to have not even gone to the doctor in the first place for some of these situations. And there are food choices, the ignorance about food choices that can create nutrition deficiencies that lead to a malfunctioning immune system. So the immune system needs a specific level. Each person has their own individual needs of what they need for their immune system. And if they're not meeting those needs, then their immune system cannot respond naturally and normally as to, not have an autoimmune reaction to things that might otherwise have been no big deal in a healthy person with a healthy immune system that was properly fueled. And then lastly, number 4, limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs can create a mental view about health, about what's possible, about, believing that this is just how good feeling I'm going to be. This is the most health I can achieve. This is my genetics. This is what I have been destined to be in terms of my energy level, my body weight, and how I feel every day, and not believing that there is better and it's possible for me. So that limiting belief system can build on itself and actually create more of a disease situation, can create more symptoms, can create even further progression of an autoimmune condition. And also a limiting belief that when these symptoms are starting and when these problems are becoming apparent, the limiting belief that I am not worth investing in a solution to get better with this situation. The limiting belief is that this is not worth it. I am not worth it. I am not going to overcome my fears, my doubts, my hesitation around getting better, around being healthy again. So all of these things can further along the disease and actually make someone sicker, more prone to getting even another autoimmune condition, and making the progression even more building, fast and building into a bigger and bigger issue. So there are things that, this all feeds on itself, because when inflammation is going up, it is having an impact on the brain, where there will be an increase in just feelings of depression and disconnection from people and isolation, and this can further those negative beliefs, so that that the autoimmune symptoms that might be starting in a more slight way, not a full-blown diagnosis yet, but just enough inflammation can impact the brain, so that this can further, negative thinking patterns, negative beliefs about what can be achieved. So, when we talk about what are the best things to do to turn all of these symptoms around and start the body's recovery process, is really addressing those four things. Addressing the inflammatory food choices, the high estrogenic food choices, addressing the toxic bacterial substances that are being put off by bacteria, addressing where they are coming from, whether they're coming from the dead bacteria that are kind of being ushered in and kind of masked by the foods we eat, or from the live bacteria that inhabit us. And also addressing what is good nutrition. How do I make sure that I don't have this nutrition deficiency anymore, so that I'm not susceptible to autoimmune conditions going forward? And also addressing the belief system, the limiting beliefs about what's possible for your health, for your getting better, for your ability to heal and have the best life and serving your purpose that you can have. And, having also just the belief system that you are worth it. You are worth, prioritizing a solution for you, prioritizing and getting better for you, and prioritizing that this is something that needs to be addressed and needs to be turned around. So all of these things are really important towards health and healing. And this certainly happened with a young woman who found her career just came to a total halt because of the rheumatoid arthritis that she was experiencing. And, this was something where she, was, losing all of the, not only her ability to do her job, but losing her hair and losing her ability to just even stand and function and walk around and move in any way that she wanted to do that. Impacting her relationship with her husband, impacting her ability to be a good mom. And, when she was able to address the four things that I just talked about, the food choices, the building a healthy floral garden and stopping the toxins from coming in, and addressing what is good nutrition, because she certainly was not in the know about what it was that was best to do to fuel her body, her individual needs, and also just a believing that total health was possible without a doctor's intervention, without a pharmaceutical prescription, that her body had the ability to activate its natural healing mechanism and to recalibrate the immune system. Once she had all of those things in place, she experienced a remarkable change to her body within weeks of doing these things, of getting the help that she needed. She became leaner, more energized. Inflammatory markers were non-existent with the labs, and she even had to change doctors because she needed to find a doctor that was willing to gradually calibrate and reduce the medications so that she could eventually go off the medications. So that's where even detaching from that previous belief system that health was found with a doctor, with the doctor's pharmaceutical prescriptions of what they wanted to give her. So even detaching from that was instrumental in her healing process. So now she's at the healthiest she's ever been. Her inflammatory markers are completely gone. Her cholesterol has improved. She is now 3 years off medications, strong, able to do things that she couldn't have even dreamed of doing in the height of her symptoms with rheumatoid. Things like, going for a jog or doing yoga, just taking better care of herself. So I just want to encourage you that if these things are getting in your way from getting to where you need to be, help is available for you. And I would love for you to learn more about my work, learn more about why this is a solution for you and how you could start today with getting better. I posted a link at the top of this post that has a link to my presentation on how the immune system can be recalibrated, how the body's healing abilities can be activated, and how a customized solution for you is possible. So I'd encourage you to check that out and reach out to me if you have any other questions with, private message me or email or even a phone call, which is on my Truly Myers Facebook page, my phone number. So I hope everyone has a great rest of your week, and look forward to talking with you all soon. Thanks.